Yeah. Just breathe. Just breathe. Sometimes only one can do is just breathe. One breath at a time. Pull up, pull over. Just look at the life. Soak it all in. Some days are great. Some days are not so great. I always seek the greatness in all things. Sometimes all things aren't so great, especially when they're in your face. Hypocrisy is at an all-time high. Makes you wonder how folks can look so much externally, but far from a few look in this direction. Yeah, folks. We're to hold ourselves accountable. It begins with us. Everything out there can't change until this changes. As a witness, I used to always wonder why people's perceptions are the way they are. There's right and there's wrong. There's no justification to doing wrong. So why do we justify it? Too many times I've seen folks cause a lot of harm to people. Put a lot of work to causing that harm to people. And just think, I'm sorry. That's it. It doesn't work like that, folks. They say hurt people hurt people. That's understood, but that's no excuse. Too many times we have excuses. Excuses is another opportunity just to mask the problem. It's a rebuttal to the problem. But we're never really facing the problem head on. It's like folks could do so much work to destroy situations. And when the results reflect, they take the easy way out. A lot of times they'll say, well, God has forgiven me. Partially of that is true, correct. He's forgiven you for making that acknowledgement that you were wrong. But God sees from a wider lens. What did you do? What work did you put in to make that wrong right? All the knowledge we seek, all the knowledge we obtain, folks, means nothing without application. If we just have all that knowledge up here and do nothing with it, then what good is it for? The more you obtain, the more you must supply. Through your life, the more it will reflect. The enemy is not what you guys think the enemy is. The devil with horns and all that stuff. Yeah, it's got its ugly face. Yeah, it's very ugly. But there's a lot more to it. The enemy will come to you in many different forms. And the enemy will transform through those forms to getting to you. The enemy, knowing you may expect it to come a certain way, a certain direction, a certain look, will change its clothes and say, let's see if you can see me now. And it may come to you as the most beautiful thing you have ever seen. The master of manipulation. Again, the master of manipulation. To be manipulated is to be deceived. Truth never deceived. Truth was always honest, sincere. Truth never hid, but was made open. I've understood how a lot of times my life was a reflection of what so many other people go through. I never understood why the life I lived, what purpose it was for, before I understood who God was, who my true Father was. I asked, why was life so hard? What was it about me that made me different from the rest? Why do I see things the way I see things? Why can't others see what I'm seeing? Then those answers came. How lost so many folks are. How the blind are leading the blind. Many know what they're doing, and they don't care to continue serving their mission. You know, you can poke and poke and poke and poke at people for so long. Eventually, people had enough. You can't keep hurting people. Some people will poke at you very closely. Some people will poke at you from a distance. What you give it power, that's a total different understanding. A total different reaction. Because at the end of the day, nobody has power over you but you. However, when it comes to personal things that mean a lot, personal things that you love, and the enemy has manipulated it, controlled it, masqueraded it, it's a tough battle, folks. Especially when it involves family. A lot of folks, a lot of people were born into families, were married into families. And I used to think family were of those things. But as I've shared stories with others and seen the lives through others, we became our own family. And it made me understand a lot of folks, you're not alone. great divide has been made. It appears as if though God has separated his people from those in the world. If you're truly not ready to tackle and face and head on real situations of healing, if you're hiding and you're masquerading a lifestyle that isn't true, just to hide those pains, hide those emotions, hide that deception, God sees all things, and you're only lying to yourself. And we hold accountability and responsibility. And by knowing this, knowing where your heart truly is, the repercussions of that are going to only unfold more and more and more heavier. It's like people in the world will see somebody cause harm to people, just like that ask for forgiveness one day. They'll forgive that person that caused the harm, but the person that was affected by it, who spoke about the harm, who was revealed the ugly truth about that harm, those people that they despised them. How about you despise the person that began that pain, created that harm, that person that made the apology? How about you look at that person with that same energy? I've seen people, as a witness, church folks, not just church folks, folks in the world, but especially church folks, where the left hand called the right hand a liar. Then the right hand called the left hand a liar. And the person in the middle who saw this, trying to find resolution in truth, was then looked at as the outcast, the deceiver. And the left hand and the right hand were simply cordial amongst each other, even though behind the scenes they called each other liars. To me, the true liars are both parties of the left and the right. For that person in the middle that was honest, truthful, sincere, trying to find resolution, trying to come to the common ground of truth, that was outcasted, should have, I don't want to say be praised upon, but more of those folks could have learned a whole lot from that individual. You know, I sit back and I shake my head many times, because I'm like, how do these people live in their own skin? Do people know you like I really know you? I've seen who you are behind closed doors. I've seen your face when other people weren't looking. And when you go out there into the world, it's like, who are you? So now you become the bad guy. And the people in the world that don't know these things follow along because they're on the outside looking in. They don't know the real horrors on the inside. So they'll follow along with the most beautiful things that are simply just liars. But because it's not the ugly truth and it's a beautiful lie, most folks follow a beautiful lie rather than the ugly truth. That's pretty interesting. Because I'd rather follow the ugly truth than live a beautiful lie. That's been a battle that not only myself, but many others have faced, is simply learning how to face these things. When you live in a world filled with lies, that isn't real, that isn't honest, that isn't truthful. Again, there are many stories to share. I am a testimony to many of those stories that many others have experienced themselves as well. So I understood. I asked God one day, what is it about me? Why am I going through this? What is my purpose in all this? And it was understood that for me to see these things is for me to be that voice to those that have none. A lot of people's voices have been taken. And there were many times where I went to certain places, certain institutions, certain platforms. They'll encourage you, you have a voice. They'll prepare you to be able to use that voice. And then when it's time to speak, they find a way to close that voice, shut you down. Your own family will try to find a way to shut you down, not uplift you. Because if you are a true voice of truth, they should be encouraged, not discouraged. I could never respect somebody that felt that they could run a mile more than I respected somebody that was barely able to walk 10 feet. Because I respect that person that walked that 10 feet that was just as hard, if not harder, than that person that was able to coast that mile like it was nothing. When you carry your cross, that walk isn't easy. I've seen, it just amazes me. It's like society has been so conditioned. Everybody's seeking for attention. Brainwashing is at an all-time high. It's like yesterday's pastors is today's celebrities. Everybody's looking for that attention. I've had pastors defriend me for what reasons, personal reasons, I don't understand, I don't know, nor is it my problem. But if you're a man of God, if you're a man of truth, and all I've done is spoken truth, shared joy and laughter, and some of the truth was ugly, what offense did I cause? So it makes me look at that individual a little more deeper. And these are people that have many followers. So what was it about myself? And I'm always using myself because I'm a story of many stories. So nobody could ever say, you don't know what it's like. No, I got stories to share. I know what a lot of it is like. And all the stories that could unfold, that I don't get too deep into many of them, one would ask, how are you still here? How are you still alive? How are you still loving? How do you still care? And all I can do is thank the man above. He's always been with me through thick and thin, till my last breath. I leave it all in his hands. All in his hands. He is my breath. He is my walk. He is my life. I've seen so many folks trying to save the world, doing missionary work, donations, here, there, and a brother like me knock on the door and say, hey, can I receive some of that love? And those doors weren't open. I am the people. I am the lost. I am the forgotten. Who are you testifying for? I put a lot of people to the test. Let's see if those words you talking are really about that action. Haven't been seeing it, folks. The folks that I saw were more about that action. They were the church outside of the church. They were the people that were persecuted. They were the people that were loving. They were the people that gave folks the truth of love, whether they liked it or not. If you're looking to just tickle everybody's ear, folks, then you're in the wrong field. You could try to save the world, but if you ain't saving your own home, then what are you saving? It begins at the home. It begins with your families. Parents, your job as a parent while you're on this earth never ends. I don't care if I'm 80, 90 years old and my children are 40. Guess what? I'm raising my household right. And guess what? They're going to always respect Papa. They're going to always understand at the end of the day, we are family. Family sticks together. Family doesn't betray one another. Family doesn't pick sides. Family doesn't say you get with our program or you are pretty much out of the loop. No. Family is a place of love where we come together to be loving. I understand there's folks that have siblings that may not see eye to eye on all things, and I understand that. But where does it end? At the end of the day, we all we got. And if you can't see that in your own flesh and blood, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's a spiritual warfare going on at an all-time high. All-time high. I just figured today I'd take a nice ride, enjoy some sunshine, sit by the lake, and take a nice little walk in a little bit. Mind, body, and soul, folks. And breathe. Again, you're going to have seasoned people. It's another topic I've always talked about, is seasoned people. You know, there's going to be many people that will come to you and leave you. Some people last a day, some people last a week, some people last a month, some people last a lifetime. But whenever somebody introduces themselves, me personally, I like to know what kind of space and place they're coming from. 9 out of 10 times, folks aren't coming sincere. They're coming with an agenda. They're coming for their own personal gain. Because if they were truly concerned and involved about you, they would really want to get to know a little bit more and build with you. I've had folks, even with social media, liking posts, sharing posts, the energy is just so real. They're on it all day, every day. And I'm like, I recognize everything. I'm like, all right, let's see how long this lasts. I was like, sooner or later, they're probably going to want something. And shortly after that, you get the invites on, hey, come to my section of the woods. And it's like, here we go. Before we go to your section of the woods, have you ever took the time to take a walk with me? Have you ever took the time to have a real talk with me, face to face? Have you ever took the time to really get to know me? No, but you took plenty of time to receive whatever it was you were looking for your own benefit, to try to re-guide me in your favor. I'm sorry, I'm not here for nobody's favor. I'm walking my own walk. Some people get mad, get turned off, and next thing you know, you don't hear from them folks anymore. And it's like, was it really real in the first place? Hypocrisy. Folks will say, I ain't received no love, but they don't give love. And if they give love, it ain't true love. It ain't real love. So they'll give a portion of love and hold back the real ingredients. So it's like cooking food with no herbs, with no ingredients. So when you eat the final meal, it's like, it's bland. I can't enjoy this. It's supposed to be good, but it's missing a whole lot of love in it. If you're gonna cook something up, pour the best of what you got into it before you serve it. So when that person's receiving it, they can feel that love. I done cooked for people so well that they felt the love and they were so relaxed that they fell asleep. And it's like, yo, you alright? But like, yo, every time I eat your food and I'm around you, it's like I'm in a relaxed space. And I'm like, cause you're too busy out there in the world, and you gotta really find your sanctuary of peace. I can't be in any space where I can't enforce the peace. You gotta be at peace. And even in dark places, you can be that representative of peace. What are you representing, folks? And even in the battle of war, if there can't be peace, then it must be war. And if there's going to be a fight, we're going to fight for love. Fight for peace. I've seen how slick that serpent slithers. And that serpent many times has tried to come to me. It knew ugly wasn't going to work. So it will use the most beautiful things that you never could imagine to truly be ugly. And if you're not careful, you can be blinded yourself and lose yourself, lose your identity, and be misguided. You have to really be careful. You could spend your whole life to turn around and realize that enemy been with you your whole life through somebody you love. And it may have not been purposely through somebody you loved. However, they allow themselves to be used by the enemy, which again is the enemy. We too grown. It's one thing when you're a child, it's another thing when you're an adult. Again, you're truly a child of God. You understand what it means to be a responsible adult in this world. So yeah, folks, be careful. Don't spend your whole life not knowing your circle. Check your family thoroughly. Check your friends thoroughly. A lot of people are laughing, and they're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. And then when you realize the truth, how far that joke really is on them. Because now they know that you know. And they're not laughing no more. So again, you can't save the world if you're not saving your home. If everybody holds their own selves accountable, takes care of their home, you take care of the world. Stay loving, folks. Be real, be authentic, and it's not easy. It takes practice. Doesn't happen overnight. There are folks that come to this truth, this consciousness they call it, and they go, it's like a drug. You go gung-ho in the beginning, yo, and calm down. Soak it in. Understand what this is. But don't allow it to manifest a new profound ego to say, I have all the answers. Because if you truly understand the truth and you're conscious to it, it humbles you. You could be the greatest at whatever you want to be. You don't have to be arrogant. If you're great, let the work speak for itself. You shouldn't have to project your greatness. You shouldn't have to try to force feed the world for them to see your greatness. They'll see it through your work. It doesn't matter who I am, no matter what. If my work shows beauty, joy, magnificent things, it's bringing people together, even if it's the ugliest of the work that's bringing people together, for them to understand what's really going on, opening their eyes and their vision, giving all the glory to God, then again, what are we doing? Folks don't understand languages come in many different forms, and not everybody is spoken in the same context of language. You know, there's language barriers. People of different cultures, people born in different lifestyles. So one message may be understood by a chosen group. It's not for everybody. There are people in different spaces and parts of their lives. Folks will say, look at him, look how he's talking. Look. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to those that can't hear and are struggling to see. And they understand me very clearly. They'll never understand you. A lot of people will talk over you, not directly through you. When I talk to people, I speak to the soul. A lot of people talk to people, they just talking at the body, not understanding the soul. When you speak to the soul, you find that connection of understanding. And together, we can make things happen. I've had the world against me plenty of times, just like it's been against many chosen ones. As Christ has stated, if the world hates you, know it hated me first. Everybody swears they know God as if they were there that day with him, knowing every word he said, every step by step, not knowing, do you know his love? Are you really just reading the message? Or are you understanding and being transformed by the message? Only one would ever know. And when that day we face the Father, that day of judgment comes, and these things are brought to light, the guilt of so many. And what can you do when you can't lie to yourself in front of the Father? And you can't turn it back. You already know what you're destined to go. Be loving, folks. Be truly loving. Because you can know hundreds of people, go to hundreds of congregations, hundreds of places. There's only going to be a chosen few that are truly there with you, as you are truly there with them. You know, you can share things. Social media, it's a great way to connect with people. It's a great way to put positive, great messages. But it's also a great tool of transparency, especially when you know people. But on social media, you can see the image that they're projecting to the world. And it's like, they know this person. That's not you. That's not you. You put this facade like it's all beautiful, but we all know, everybody knows, the world isn't all beautiful. There's beautiful places. What can make the world very ugly is the people in it. And this is what many people choose. So as I wrap this up, like I said, I'm with you. You are not alone if you feel that you've been abandoned. My message is your message. My voice is your voice. Every breath that I take is a breath for a fight for a better way and a better day. That's where you got HoodFacez. Simply came to make the world a better place. From one hood to one face. From the streets and the gutters to the corporates, the people are the prize. You can see if you open your eyes to it, open your mind to it. Feel the authenticity, feel the consistency. If they're not consistent, they're not authentic. Y'all have a great day, folks. One love.